Okay, so I said I was done with this series, but it's been over a year, and there's quite a lot of new useless stuff that I've learnt about. So, here's another video. Intro over, let's get straight into it. I'm gonna start with a bunch of random stuff about the Aon Trench. They used to be just scattered around the video script, but that annoyed me, so they're all grouped together now. Before the Aon Trench came out, one of the developers posted a video on Twitter where they hid a Lego brick somewhere in the trench. It's kind of easy to miss, but also, if you know where it is, then it's pretty obvious. Most of the coral in the trench is just made with the pebble texture. These ones are marble, and this one is slate. The plants are just collages of images. This is really cool map making stuff, but like, if you think about it, it's kind of funny, like, this is just a bunch of PNGs. If you click on a player in the player list to view their trainer information, and they are in the Aon Trench, they will have the bubble helmet on their avatar. Also, your hands clip through the helmet, you're welcome. The Aon Trench is the first water location in the game to feature no encounters with Goppy. It also has a completely unique encounter table, so no Loomians that were previously available in other routes are available here. The submarine saddle, which lets you drive in a submarine, cannot be used in the Aon Trench, but you can swim there, hundreds of meters underwater, with your clothes on, and somehow you can still dash around even though you'll be weighed down and, like, die of compression? Huh? Even though you literally use Dakuda in battle during the story, it is not even shown as seen in the Lumipedia, you just have to go find one yourself. Okay, that's all of the Aon Trench stuff, now on to the other things. Despite there being 6 types of weather in the game, there's only 4 types of weather in battle. Egg rain and meteor showers were excluded from getting in-battle effects. This is most likely due to the fact that they are heavily related to a specific Loomian, and then they can't be distributed to other Loomians without making sense, like, what are you gonna give meteor showers to? Lumala currently has the most signature moves with 4. Daydream, Spit, Spit Out, and Stampede. Seonite used to also have 4 signature moves, having Ear Slap, Rapid Fire, Searing Steel, and Flaming Kick, but other Loomians eventually got Flaming Kick. Since Seonite now only has one Fire-type signature move, this means all of its signature moves are different type to each other. Metronet is the only event Loomian to have its saddle appear in a different event other than the one it originates in. It was available to purchase at the Jolly Village 2022 event, because Metronet got a Christmas reskin there, and it also functioned with the mount. For some reason, when they did Akalos in the Halloween event, they didn't put its saddle there, which is really strange. Like, it's the same situation. While I was recording the footage for that last part, I noticed this stone path in the Highway Cemetery. It's a bit unfinished, I think. What's going on here? Saddles, like all other items, have descriptions that you can read if you select them in your bag, but the wording they use can be extremely inconsistent. Most saddles say, a saddle that allows you to mount a Loomian, but some of them are special saddles, ooh. Specifically Seonite, Dobo, Dusket, and the disc saddles. What makes them so special? I don't know. Like, why is Seonite special, but like Valkyrie, which is also another beginner Loomian, is not? Some saddles have different wording instead of saying that you mounted the Loomian, like being carried around by Dusket or taking Snorkel Vari out for a spin on a boat. But not every saddle has different wording, like the saddles where you chase Loomians still say you mount them, which you clearly don't. It's so strange, they still make saddles with like accurate and good descriptions, and then they're like, oh ho ho, you mount Mocho! Speaking of the Snorkel Vari saddle, since the code that you used to get the Snorkel Vari had a gleaming lock on it, the way you get an alpha and gamma version of the saddle is by using an alpha and gamma version of regular Vari. If you're halfway through a quest with Rainbow Rick in a Rainbow event and end up not finishing it before the event ends, you're left with key items that do literally nothing but clog up your inventory. I know this because I fished for an hour just to get a yellow Goppy, couldn't find it, gave up, and proceeded to forget about it before the event ended. Presumably this would happen for people who didn't finish the Vari Rainbow event and you just have a bunch of Tufts in your inventory, but I doubt anyone would go through the effort of actually finding and battling people without finishing that quest. Power Bagel is the only pre-existing store to be a part of Reggie's side quest. The Highway Ramen Shop is a completely new building, and the building for Sylvan subs existed before, but it was just blank and you couldn't enter it. Including discs with color variations, there are 55 types of discs currently in the game. The catch rate that has the most discs with it is 2 times with 21 discs, and the catch rate that has the least discs with it are 0.5 times, 1.5 times, 2.5 times, 3 times, and 3.5 times with only 1 disc each. The Snowflake disc was introduced in the 2020 Christmas event, absent in 2021, and came back in 2022. However, its counterpart, the Spooky disc, only appeared in the 2020 Halloween event and never again. The same thing happened with the Broken Heart and Full Heart discs from the Sweet Retreat event. I don't see any reason for them being cut, like it's another thing for you to buy, why would you remove it? What are you doing, Llama Train Studio? If you've ever wondered how much more experience Ray gives than Teddy, Teddy only gives 1,814 experience per battle, while Ray gives you 2,949. Strangely enough, neither of them give you the most money per battle, with that title going all the way back to Hayden on Route 7, who gives 1,248 Lumi coin per battle. The secrets that Lucky HD put around the map for his icicle hunt in 2022 never got removed, so I guess they're permanent features now. In the script I said it would be really funny to watch someone find them with no context, but I have watched someone find them with no context now, and it was funny. A bunch of music has been removed from the game over the years. You're probably aware of the Rally Ranch, which had its music replaced twice, but you may not know that Galvanite Cave, Igneous Hollow, Battlestar Battles, and the main menu also received new music. If I remember correctly, the main menu got replaced because people were getting copyrighted for it, because it was just from a website that let you purchase music for use. So yeah, good thing they changed that. The houses in Koko Village have a really weird circle hitbox that prevents you from going near them at all. I wanna climb on their houses, this is so mean! When the feature that allows you to reset encounters with certain roaming Loomians was being tested, a Twilight was used instead of a roaming. Speaking of Twilight, what a segue, I know! When the models were leaked for Atlanthean Part 2, Twilight was the only one that was not released with the update, which is kinda strange considering there's a trainer that uses Twilight. I guess the evolutions weren't finished yet. This mysterious yellow button appeared once in a leak and then was swept under the rug like nothing happened. It's possible that it could have been used for testing event teleports, however some people have said that the blurred text says Raid Dungeon and it could be similar to the Max Raid Cave in Sword and Shield's DLC. All of the menu buttons that appear at the top of the screen can be accessed by pressing a number key on your keyboard, except for the store page for some reason. If you've beaten the story up to the end of Atlanthean Part 2, clicking on the show objective button does nothing. This is because I just forgot to put a new objective in, so it just has nothing to show. On lower graphics qualities, the animation of your trainer ID opening only has like 3 frames of animation instead of being really smooth like it is on max graphics. If you open and close a menu in the Mastery tab really fast, it can do this sometimes. You can also make the Lumipedia do that if you spam click the button as it's appearing. The pajamas that Jake wears are very similar to his outfit from Pokemon Brick Bronze. These glass doors were changed in Atlanthean Part 2 for seemingly no reason. They used to be just like a solid black, but now you can see through them. I don't know why this was changed. Why? Lumala has 8 stomachs. And how does it fit anything else in there? Sinjio's ability, Defensive Priority, got changed to a completely new ability because people got so annoyed at having to watch all of the Sinjio stat changes every time they found one. Fair enough, it was very painful. The Loomian trainer station in Atlanthean City has an open roof. I thought you couldn't see this unless you glitched out of bounds, but you can just barely see it if you angle your camera right. 2 trainers currently have a Deludrix on the team. One of them is a trainer in Atlanthean City Battle Theater, and another is a Poet Corp guard in the Lost City. The 100k Choo Choo is not allowed to remove its hat. If you try to take off its hat by talking to Reggie, he just ignores you. I assume they didn't make a model for it without the hat, so that's why he doesn't let you take it off. Also, what the heck is this Choo Choo skin supposed to be? Is it golden or does it have jaundice? If you look at the area behind the train station from Chessma Town, there's terrain made out of studio parts, but looking at the same area from inside, it's just a completely different area made with the terrain tool. Be consistent, please. I very much care about consistency in my LEGO Pokemon game. The rocks on the walls of some of the earlier routes are just very strange. Sometimes they have collision and sometimes they don't. Sometimes there's just an invisible wall there. Who knows what's gonna happen when you touch one. Since Atlanthean Part 1 released, event Loomians have started appearing in story mode. Mocho, Hoganosh, Fiskana, Seadrake, and Cosmeo have all been used by trainers in the main game. Halloween Protagon also got a cameo in a cutscene, where he just dies. Event Loomians have also shown up in events that they do not originate in, via reskins. Metronet and Totemochi got reskins in the 2022 Christmas event, Nimue got a rainbow form in the 2023 Rainbow event, and Snowcub, Mistlebud, and Akalos got reskins in the 2023 Halloween event. Also, some reskins have appeared in events that you can't find them in. Halloween Protagon appeared in the 2022 Halloween event, as it was an integral part of the Unfair Corn Maze, and Halloween Short Tree was owned by an NPC in the 2022 Halloween event. Also, it looks like some event Loomians will actually be available in story mode at some point. Barbadger, Holobunch, Celesting, and probably a few others don't have the event icon on their stats page. This has been known about ever since they came out and was never fixed, so it's likely that they were intended to be found in the main game, and an event where they fit just came around before the story updated far enough. The sprite art for some Loomians are very slightly off in their posing, like base form Gargolem is flying even though it stands, Achelos is bipedal, which it does when it T-poses when it's loading in, but it doesn't do it when it's like moving around. Sonoga's hands aren't up in the air, and Halvantic is... Yes. Did you know, if you add an extra letter to Shrimpost's name, it becomes a bit... suspicious? I'm sorry for existing. The Polar Corp Guard battle theme has the Vantacorp Vault theme as a motif in it. Have a listen. The Atlantean City Living District has a system that allows for perfect weather, yet that it can still have rain, wind, fog, heat waves, and egg rain somehow. People thought that Zulong was getting a soul burst because the model for Nova Diaz got leaked before Atlantean Part 2 came out. Does this look remotely similar to Zulong to you? No, it doesn't. You can fish underwater if you glitch out of bounds at Lotus on Beach, and it looks kinda odd. You can do a similar thing on Route 8 where you fish through the bridges. Cones have been pretty much absent from the game ever since Atlantean Part 1 released. I guess there was no real good place to put them since, like, do you put them on the train station? Will that just confuse new people? Do you put them on his house? That would also confuse new people. But it's still really strange. Bring back the cones! You can buy the magic chisel from the Battle Coliseum shop if you already own it and waste 48 Coliseum points. I know this because I tried this myself. I hate this man. These trees are the least textured foliage in the entire game. What do you call this item? I'm willing to bet you call it a Soul Burst Crystal, but they're actually called Burst Crystals in the game, which it just sounds a bit wrong, doesn't it? 2 more Loomians have been added to the animation for when they attack and not the animation of the attack club. Kind of. The Loomians to receive animations for when they attack are Stratosaur and Dakuda, but only when in their Soul Burst forms and only when they use their special Soul move. Dr. Vanta and Brown are the first trainers besides the player to own roaming Loomians, with each of them owning a Cosmeor. The smaller line is the only weather Loomian line to have no members that can fly. Charcoal can launch itself into the sky, but that is launching, not flying. It's top 8,000 in the world at Pokemon Unite. This is related to Loomian Legacy, I swear it was in the Discord server. Arceus and Glacedia were originally not going to receive any new moves as they were already so good. Then Jamie forgot he said that and gave Arceus Boiling Press, thanks! This part of the video was written around the time that the Haunted Village Halloween event came out, so let's go over some Halloween themed useless Loomian information. Yippee! Odo Yaga is the second Loomian to speak English, though I'm not entirely sure it's a count because it only speaks when it's in its weird gloopy potion form. If you fail the game, clicking on anything will make you fail again, as if you're already in your next attempt. If that doesn't make sense, just watch what happens here. The portals that Odo Yaga makes only let you in if your avatar is touching the floor. This means that most mounts that let you float over the portal don't let you in. Using saddles like Goppy, Mocho, or Kiego that make you run on the floor allow you in, but the animation kinda breaks and it does that. That's not right. Mirami's transparent ghost stuff appears incorrectly on the stats page, blending in with the blue background instead of being purple. The Mirth saddle is arguably more accurate to a brick bronze hoverboard than the saddles from the Atlantean arcade, as Mirth is literally a board with a design underneath and the discs are just triangles. Mirth is the second Halloween Loomian to have a blue tongue, the first being Halvantic. Treats are the third type of Halloween currency we've had, though I'm not entirely sure why cookies are just regular treats and lollipops are spooky treats. Like, what makes them so spooky? There are standees around that show off Impkin, Wispup, Vesperado, and Christmas Kratel, but none of them actually show up in the event at all. This is injustice! Why the hell did FanCub get to stay, but Wispup got kicked out after 2020? This is so rude. Join the Wispup fan club today. The Haunted Village event is the first time one of Dr. Halloween's nightmares have been accessible from the navigation menu. It's also the first time Dr. Halloween has entered one of his nightmares himself. Is that the greatest idea when he's the one who controls how you get in and out? I don't think so. They actually fixed the Mastery tab with the Haunted Village update. It still follows the awful order the official Lumipedia is in, but at least this is an improvement. Harvest's battle call was actually hidden in the unfair theme right at the start. It's a bit quiet, but you can definitely hear it. Harvest was added halfway through the Halloween 2021 event, and the hidden cry wasn't publicly acknowledged until over a year later on the Loomian Discord. So Harvest could technically have been in the game for multiple weeks and just nobody knew. If you completed the 2020 Halloween event and came back for the 2021 Halloween event, Dr. Halloween would remember you and have unique dialogue. In the following years, he had the exact same dialogue no matter what. I assume that they tracked if you helped him in 2020 by checking if he completed Metronet's Mastery, which was tied to completing the event. The 2022 Halloween event started with no new roaming Loomian, so there was no new need for a quest, which left Dr. Halloween with the same dialogue as the previous year. And since Gargolem had nothing to do with him, he did not remember you again in 2023. The Llama Train model appears once again, being crashed in the Haunted Village forest near the Witch's house. And finally, Loomian Legacy is now self-aware.